global dating market, we ain't worried about America, in the global dating market in terms of desirability, it's white men at the top, it's black men number 2, it's Hispanic men number 3, and Asian men number 4. In terms of desirability, in terms of all the data and stats that they're collecting in terms of marriages, in terms of sex, access to sex, and the dating app data. Black men are second. Asian men are last. Asian women don't want Asian men in mass. On the flip side, depending on the depending on the data, number 1 is either Asian women or white women, depending on the study. And then number 3 is Hispanic women, and then last is black women.
You just crucified yourself.
It's not crucified, and I'll tell you why. The reason why I'm saying it in that way and breaking it down in that way is
I did.
Okay, guys, we are back here with another episode. And if you see my last episode with the lovely and amazing Dr. Jeffrey James here, you will know the type of content we're going to be jumping in today. And for those of you that don't, this gentleman is speaking to each man and woman, telling us what we really need to boil down, let go of all the bullshit, and get back to one another. Because today I just see that we are failing each other, but I want to get you guys the solution. So let's jump into this content right now. So what do you guys think about that? How can we change our outcomes to become better versions? And to be honest with you, denying that this is a fact is not going to change anything. We have to fix both our ways of life and our attitudes towards how we treat other people. But I want this doctor to break it down for you because, you guys come here to get, a difference of opinion. I have my own opinion, and not just any opinion, but things based on facts and what gets you the actual results. So I want you guys to really take a listen to what this guy has to say, because I think that he breaks it down as best as possible. And it's really funny because he reminds me of Kevin Samuels, but instead of being so combative with everybody, I think that he's being heard more so than not. But we're going to check out the comments too at the end of this just to see what people are saying.
I want to address something you said earlier about equality, and my position is we're more alike than we are different.
okay.
Now, biologically, our bodies are definitely different. Socially, we're basically the same. Now, I understand what you were saying. I completely agree with all of that. When you put it like that, I was like, okay, yeah, for sure. But I think a lot of women are asking just for equity, not necessarily equality. Like, we don't necessarily want to be equal to you, but we definitely want the environment to be equitable.
And I'm just going to say this right now. This is the gaslighting sign language that a lot of men deal with today that doesn't translate well to what would make a positive and helpful relationship. But that's what I know. Let's see what they have to say.
We want to be able to have the same opportunities to just function the way we function.
Can you give me an example, just so I know I'm on the same page with you? Can you give me an example?
So I'm much different than the average woman. The average woman does not own a garage full of power tools. The average woman just doesn't do, like, I like getting dirty and doing what I do.
I think it's particular to say and to look here that as she said this, and I don't want to cut her off, but I think it's very particular to listen. Like she said, she's not an average woman. So with that, you have to look for non-conventional results, because if you want a typical average relationship, but you don't want to conform to the norm, or you want to be somewhere out there in the universe past what is regular and then expect regular results, then you're looking to make yourself fail, because you still at the end of the day have to look at what the opposite side wants and kind of fall in line with that. Because as a man, if I were to not get a shape up, not take showers, and just say, all right, take me as I am, no one in their right mind would take me seriously. But again, I want to let this beautiful young lady speak and hear what you guys have to say. So for me, because it's absolutely free, drop down in those comments, hit the like button, and if you're new here, hit the subscribe button, because it's absolutely free and it helps the channel to grow, and we can watch more stuff like this and keep the conversation going, because it's absolutely necessary. I know a lot of people are tired of it, but if you're tired of it, that's because you aren't listening to it from the angle of actually learning. You're just taking it personal.
The average lonely woman has a garage full of power tools. Trust me.
No, they don't. No, they don't,
Bullshit.
Darwin.
They gotta get down
No,
there
they
and fix
don't.
that shit themselves.
No, they don't. Because my friends call me to do all of their work. They do not do that. The average woman does not have a garage full. The average single woman does not have a garage.
I don't think she even heard what he said. He wasn't saying average single woman. He definitely said average lonely woman. But yeah,
Full of power tools. They have a Rolodex full of people that they can call to do the work that they need done.
I'm just
And
messing
they
with
pay those people for sure. But and I know that I am not able to do the things the way a man can do it, because we are different. But the opportunity to show up and have the opportunity to do the things that I do want to do and like to do and I am able to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially like in my relationship, I don't want to be looked at differently as if I'm masculine just because I'm building a greenhouse in my backyard. A lot of men are put off by that, right? Like, I want to be seen just as a person who has a lot of talents. Like, I'm talented, right? And so I don't want to be looked at differently because of that, because a lot of men have a very rigid view of what a woman is supposed to be. So when I take out my power tools and I'm taking raw materials and I make it something, I don't want a man to be like, I don't want a woman to do all that. There's real manly right there. And I'm like, but I got I got booty shorts and a sports bra. I'm cute doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm very feminine. I just do what I do. And I think we're just asking for equity and just to be.
and ladies, I will explain this at this point, because you have to view it from the lens of the other person. And I think that you only put it in the perspective of going outside, you're doing the work that you perceive as a man's work, but you're doing it in booty shorts and, a halter top or sports bra, whatever the case may be. And you think that that visually is going to be stimulating to that man, but then find a man that you think, that actually lets you know that that is what he likes. Because it's not everybody that wants to see a woman working on a car. It's not every guy that wants to see a woman, you have to align yourself with what you're looking for. And it's just seeming, though, from anecdotal experience for her, that she's dealt with a lot of men that don't find that charming. And I understand that, but you also have to respect that they have their choice in what they find attractive as well. And you trying to force it on them is crazy. That's all I got to say.
Be seen as people, just like y'all like to be seen as people and not these dainty, feminine, like helpless creatures.
All right. Thank you for that. I have 2 or 3 points I think that could be very helpful with this. Number one, you and Jasmine, are y'all outside of you two being equal in terms of being human beings, like in terms of value? No, right? So if you're not equal with another woman, then you're
Damn.
not equal with another man. And I'm not equal with Darwin outside of the fact that our equality starts and stops, believe it or not, with our humanity. All other distinctions, our gender, our age, our experience, our skill set, there's reasons for why one person will get the job, another person will get the job. In 2025, there is nothing that you can't do in terms of employment, right? Even in terms of intense fields, physical labor fields, they'll lower the standards now for women so that they can do it. So if you want to be a firefighter, you don't have to have the same standard that a male firefighter has to do. If you want to be in the military, your mile won't be the mile of your male counterpart. You want to be a police officer, you name it. Field after field after field, by default, because you're in America, as a woman, you can already go and do that. The issue for all women, and I'll say this specifically to Black women, is, yes, you're right. You probably had experiences where there were some men that were turned off because you had a certain type of job. A lot of men, I can't speak for your personal experience, but a lot of men are not actually turned off by the job or even the type of job. They're turned off by the traits that are often associated with those women. The behavioral traits that sometimes comes with women that has very demanding schedules, demanding jobs, demanding fields, is that they're highly disagreeable, that they are a little rough around the edges. They assume because I look good that I'm still feminine. Because I get my nails done, I'm still feminine. Because my hair and I got my makeup on, I still let a man lead. Well, I always look at it through the lens: does your outcomes reflect the thing that you're saying that you're doing? So an example of what I'm basically saying is, when I talk to women who are struggling in the dating market, and they're saying, "Oh, I'm doing this and I'm doing that," but I'm saying, but if all the men, your outcomes would typically be different. If I'll say it,
and I'll say it for him because it's seeming like he's, tongue twisted. If the men you were liking, like the things that you were doing, you wouldn't have a problem in the dating market. Those men will be falling over their feet trying to get you, right? And you would be wifed up because the man of your dreams would be drooling over your every action. You get what I'm saying? Because that's the notion that we've come up with. But it's very contextual. And I think that men, you have the same issue, because it's like, I'm going to say whatever. And she better get with it. Nah, man. The problem is that we don't take into consideration the things that we say have to be attractive also to the opposite sex. Not to say that it's like you always have to be nice to them, but you want to at least take into consideration the things that the other person wants to hear. If you want a successful relationship in any way, both in friendships, and I'm not saying that you can't correct somebody. Now, that's the difference, right? But take into consideration how that person wants to be treated. It's very simple.
This way, because you kind of mentioned something in terms of you want to be perceived a certain way from men, right? You want them to still see you as soft, as still feminine, or yeah, in essence, right? And that you don't want what you do to impact how people see you. If we flip it, and this is where I think both sexes can get a better understanding of this stuff. When you all question what it is about men being turned on and turned off about stuff, what's your icks? What's your things that makes it known? I can't do this guy. I absolutely can't take him seriously. I'm not going to return his phone call. That's not my type. Whatever that list of things is that attracts you or turns you away, we have our own version of that. And again, no one has to teach us that.
Well, but my point is that there is a very rigid view of what a woman is.
And I'm going to wind it back, but she is really trying to fight it, because it's just like this. He's saying, if you have a list as a woman, right, ladies, there are things that check off your box that you want from a man. Same thing constitute a man. A man has certain things he wants on his box. And you can't be over here saying, okay, I want you got this on my list. And then he can't say, well, you don't have this on my list, so it doesn't work out. You feel what I'm saying? what you got to do is, okay, if this man want this thing, same thing as the man. If she want this thing, can I meet on these levels? Right? It's very simple.
Is. And so I get icks. I promise I do. I'm not, again, I don't invalidate experiences. It's
Okay.
cool. Like how you feel, how you experience things. I'm never going to invalidate that. But there is a very rigid view.
She said experiences. And let me wind it back too. I said I was going to do that. Experiences.
Don't invalidate experiences. It's of what a woman is. And so I get icks. I promise I do. And I'm not, again, I don't invalidate experiences. It's
Okay.
cool. Like how you feel, how you experience things. I'm never going to invalidate that. But there is a very rigid view. Like you have to meet these certain points to be this feminine woman to men. And for me, and the other women can agree or disagree, but for me, the ick normally is that rigidity and all of the things that come with it. The rigid masculinity, the rigid like gender roles.
Why is it rigid?
I don't like, because it never, like it can never be anything else but what you all see it as, right? Like you're not allowing people to just be people. Like women are not these bullet point things. You cannot list what a feminine woman is because it looks different.
We live
And
in a
it
society.
should look different just like men in their masculinity can look different.
Bo, sorry, Darren. Bo, I have a question for you, and I hope that this question will illustrate the direction I'm going in.
Okay.
Who do you think has more prerequisites or standards in order for them to be satisfied and interested in order to date the opposite sex? Who got the higher? Who has the much longer list of expectations that the opposite sex has to meet in terms of requirements?
Okay, if we're talking about in society, then I guess it has to be women.
In society,
so
ain't no other way.
If the two things, so hold on, just 1 second. So just to clarify, there's actually very few things that men are actually looking for and to satisfy, and I think our standards have had to go down every decade in order for us to be able to still find a suitable partner.
Not mine.
So
I became the #1 rep in every industry I sold in B2C and B2B. I eventually became one of the top 50.
What I'm suggesting is rather than trying to demonize women with their lengthy list of prerequisites. So for instance, if you feel like you don't want men to be so rigid with their viewpoints, I'm not going to shame women that want a man that's taller than them. I'm never going to shame women that want a man that's not weaker than them. I'm never going to shame women that don't want to be with men that they don't feel safe with and that he feel like that he can't protect them. So rather than being like, well, you just need to change that. No, that's what you can't go through 10,000 years of evolutionary biology and know that who you are and how you've been shaped to be. There's actually certain natural inclinations of what no one had to teach you that you may have felt safer with a man that you weren't looking down on. That's just a hardwired in you. So remember what I mentioned about that blank slate theory thing? A blank slate theorist will have issues with the opposite sex's stances of what they're attracted to that they feel they're not measuring up to. So when you hear these men that's going off and complaining about women this and women that, evolutionary biology is learning about, in order for you to not be a genetic dead end as a man, you have to adapt to what women want. You don't get to dictate what it is that women are attracted to or what they want. What they want is what they want, and they're not going to settle. So if we're going to hold women to that standard, then we have to hold men to especially men who have the choice and option as well. The man that
Wait a minute now. Listen, this man is spitting bars right now. I'm telling you, yo. Hold up. My man spitting bars right now. Listen. He is really telling you that, and I really hope that ladies are listening right now because this is very important. It's similar to what I just said. Of course, a little bit more concise, but we have to meet each other's wants and needs. Simple as that, guys. You cannot dictate what the other side is going to want. And if you try to dictate it, you're getting all the same BS that we have today.
You want has standards just like you do. And just like many of the key core things that you either like or don't like or turn-ons and turn-offs, you get to arbitrarily decide which one of those you want to honor or set aside. So too does he. Now, for you, a guy may look at you and initially think a certain thing. Oh, she's going to be rough around the edges. She's doing all this hard manual labor. But what happens to the guy who has that image in his head and then he talks to you and he gets the total opposite experience? Suddenly your job and field and craft of what you do for a living doesn't matter to him anymore. Because experientially, that whatever's happening outside that home, when you walk through that door, he doesn't feel it. Guys don't care. Guys ain't, when women are like, if I went to school or I made all of this money, I didn't go to school to make 80,000, 100,000, 125,000 to date a guy that's making 40. We're never going to shame her into accepting a guy that's making $40,000. It's not going to happen. She put herself in a position that that's what it is that she desires. And either she's the type of woman that can garner and get that type of man, or she doesn't. If he's the type of man that's saying, I want a woman that's feminine, soft, respects my leadership, displays submissiveness at times, and works well with me and is on my program, are you the type of guy that can get that out of women, regardless of what she does for a living? Every guy doesn't qualify for the type of woman that he wants. And guess what? Every single woman doesn't qualify for the type of man that she thinks she wants.
Right.
We have to learn how to adjust to the sex we're saying we want. What we're doing as in dating, communication. This is a great, to me, I think this is a really cool analogy. Imagine going to for a job interview. You get there, you sit down, you're late, you in your pajamas, and you slide over your resume, and it's a whole bunch of irrelevant stuff that has nothing to do with the job position that you want. And as the person's trying to ask you questions, you're talking about how much you want to make and what your hours is going to be, and they're saying, "Well, this is what our salary is, and this is the prerequisites of what we're looking for in experience, and this is what we'd be willing to pay you, and this will be the schedule." And you say, "Yeah, I don't like any of this. I want way more money." You say in 5 days, I'll do 2 days. One of those days is going to be virtual. You just making up your own rules. What's the likelihood of you filling that job position? Gotcha, you getting picked? Less than slim to none.
None. Zero.
Men have, each man, if there's different types of men, there's usually general attraction triggers of what most men want. And the men that are of demand, their standards are even higher.
Mm.
So I'll give you an example on my end. When I was younger and I was chasing after and thirsty and trying to, shoot my shot, and I'm sending flowers and doing all this stuff. And sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. I said, man, this is a hell of a lot of effort. By the time I got to 30, things were a little bit different. And when I was on a dating app, I was a BLK Black. I had flew to Atlanta for 2-hour layover, and then I flew to Chicago and landed. When I flew to Atlanta, 2 hours, turned my phone on real quick, turned it back off, didn't check the app, got to Chicago. The 2 hours I was in Atlanta to the half hours I was in Chicago till I got in my cousin's car when she picked me up from the airport, it was 72 to 74 women that had matched with me or initiated contact with me after 2 hours in 2 different cities. You don't get to dictate anything to me. The other 69 women, I can choose.
What you want to do is save hundreds when Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance.
That's great, but can you ask?
The other 69 women, I get to dictate anything to me. The other 69 women, I can choose. That's the dating market. So if you are if there's nothing else I'm going to say tonight that's going to be helpful, if we understand the opposite sex better, we'll move different. In the global dating market, we ain't worried about America. In the global dating market, in terms of desirability, it's white men at the top, it's black men number 2, it's Hispanic men number 3, and Asian men number 4. In terms of desirability, in terms of all the data and stats that they're collecting, in terms of marriages, in terms of sex, access to sex, and the dating app data, black men are second. Asian men are last. Asian women don't want Asian men in mass. On the flip side, depending on the stat, depending on the data, number 1 is either Asian women or white women, depending on the study. And then number 3 is Hispanic women. And then last is black women.
You just crucified yourself.
It's not crucified, and I'll tell you why. The reason why I'm saying it in that way and breaking it down in that way is a lot of this animosity that we're having with each other, black men and black women in this country.
And I also don't think that he crucified himself, because stating the fact that right now our sisters are at the bottom of the totem pole definitely just gives perspective. It is not a jab, and I hope that ladies listening do not take this as a jab, because if you are failing a class and they don't tell you, how would you ever know how to get better? You understand? So if you are having an issue as a community and they are compiling data telling you that there is an issue, all you have to do now is solve it. Okay? Look at what's at the top of the list and contrast what it is that they're doing that you aren't doing, and you can easily discern the right answer.
Africans don't see us as a part of their tribe. Jamaicans don't see us as a part of their tribe. There are no other groups that do. So if globally you are the least desired, and even the other black people, even if the other black people come here, they will look at you different, and they'll still treat you a little bit different. And it takes you a while to kind of warm up, and they'll be honest and say, when I first came here, my parents said not to deal with the black Americans. I've heard that they have told me this. Who else are you going to listen to in terms of whatever it is that's causing you to be at the bottom of the totem pole of desirability than a black man looking you in your face and saying, this is what I need to feel loved. This is what I need to feel connected. This is what we need in order to feel like we can get back together with y'all, and vice versa. Black women need to communicate and let us know what it is that we're failing and dropping the ball on. So all I'm saying is rather than trying to focus on men need to adapt to me, that's not the real world. If you want the job, if you want the position, you need to fill the prerequisites. If the prerequisites are softness, feminine, non-argumentative, more agreeable, either you want to be that or not. And if you were like, well, I don't want to do all of that stuff to get with a man, you're going to end up with the man that most women don't want and other men don't respect. The man that has respect has standards. And
hold on. Boeing, are you fact checking him right now? Oh no, you tend to do that. Go ahead, bro.
That's the problem with her right there.
So I'm not in the business of trying to transform and say I'm not getting what I want in the dating market, so the problem is all other women. No.
I want to pause it for 1 second, because I really hope that she is receiving what he's saying. But I can tell you right now, just simply from the attitude that she takes, even when men are speaking to her throughout the panel, except for when it comes to Ask a Brother podcast, she is extremely abrasive. I would just say that it's not going to be a good look for this particular sister in the dating market. But, as far as building that greenhouse, I'm pretty sure it'll be amazing and lovely.
The market's the market. I need to adjust to the women. So if you are a woman by default, you have value in terms of beauty. Ain't nobody on the panel ugly. So if you're a woman and you're single and you're 30 or up, the issue is you probably need to adjust to the caliber of man that you say that you want. if you even know where to find him.
Damn.
In the Black community, I'm in a social club in Philly, working professionals, lawyers, doctors, you name it, right? The women who go to those facilities, to those spaces, have an unusual monopoly on a higher tier. These are dudes that do golf. These are dudes that own yachts, right? All the women who don't know about the social clubs, all the women that don't go to the cigar lounges, they have no idea that there's a whole nother bracket of pool of men that they're not even having access to. A lot of Black women, because they didn't do what's the school? They didn't grow up in environments where they were put into these spaces to be put on game. In terms of when you went to school, why was the Asian women and the white women going for 2 reasons and you were going for 1? You were going to get your degree. They were going to get the degree and to find their partner. So when you walked across the aisle with your diploma in hand, they had the diploma in the ring. It's about mindset. It's about approach. It's about intentionality, and it's about humility.
And godly, this is crazy. What the heck is this? Oh, this is the end of the video. Hold on. I'm gonna wind it back about 5 seconds because I want you to see when he puts that all down. It's the 3 sisters at the bottom row who are just oblivious to what's really going on, and she's in between, and she knew that she might have needed to change. And this is the clear state. It's like the divide is very visible, right? And this is not an attack on women, but I just want you to see it's a panel of at least 8 here. 2 women are in agreement with what majority of the men have been saying here, because the other men aren't speaking because they similarly agree with what Ask a Brother podcast is saying. The 3 women at the bottom are clueless to what's really going on. This one barely wants to pay attention, even though she started the conversation. She has been in and out, and then this one has been conflicted with a lot of the things that's been said. I mean, of course, the bow has been conflicted, but I just want y'all to put these things in perspective because this is the battle that we are actually facing today.
It's about mindset. It's about approach. It's about intentionality, and it's about humility. Of if you are 30 or up as a woman, and you are mildly attractive, you're doing something wrong.
So that has been the Lapeef Network. You can see it down there. Make sure you tap in with them because they have a lot of good stuff. But I really want you guys to make sure you check out Ask a Brother podcast. He's doing amazing work. I hope that you like this video. If you can, my good people, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and as always, live as long as you want. Never want as long as you live, and always squeeze the best juice out of life. Peace.